Hi guys, welcome to a new video. Today we'll take a look into this film simulation software called Dehancer, and we'll see if it can help me replace film photography. Let's go. So as many of you film shooter might have noticed, film prices have been pretty crazy lately. When I first started doing film photography, I think a roll of Kodak Go 200 would go around for $5. Nowadays, they go for around $10 to $15, which is pretty crazy. And that is not counting development and scanning as well. So for me at least, sometimes the costs have been too much and I couldn't justify shooting film anymore. And for many occasions, I've actually tried going back to digital and try to simulate the film vibes on Photoshop. And this meant spending hours and hours in front of a computer trying to, tweaking the colors or adding some kind of grain, having these film references next to me. This method worked for, individual photos, but for a project where there were like 10, 20, 50 photos, it started to get a little bit non-practical. And I've also tried shooting with Fujifilm cameras, which were advertised to have very good film simulations. But after a while, I thought that the film simulations were cool, but it didn't really replace the film for me for some reason. And so I went back to shooting film, wasting my life savings away, which were, not good. Up until recently, a film simulation software company called Dehancer reached out to me and asked if I want to do a review of their product. I've actually heard about Dehancer several times before because I also watch film influencers on YouTube who also reviewed Dehancer and had pretty good opinions about this product. And so I thought, why not? Recently, I also had a chance to travel back home to Hanoi, Vietnam, where I did several personal projects. In this 1 month time period, I shot a lot of videos and photos and worked pretty intensively with Dehancer. And so I had a pretty good idea of what this product is capable or not of doing. So, first impressions. The software is not too complicated to set up, and the UI is not too complicated to use. In my opinion, Dehancer did a pretty good job with the tutorials where they explained what each tab does or what each feature is capable of. And so I was able to get up to speed fairly quickly. What I really like about Dehancer is the workflow that try to simulate some of the steps that you would take in the darkroom back in the day. For example, like color head or printing, as you can see here. It's probably just a color tweaking tool, but the way it is designed made the process more immersive for me. I also really like working with the grain tab, the bloom tab, and the halation tabs. These are some of the most important part that can make or break your simulations. And through my findings, Dehancer provided a pretty nice tool to bring some of these characteristics to my digital photos. However, I also found that it is pretty easy to overdo these effects. So my tip to you is to try to be subtle about things. But what about the actual film simulation stocks? If you can see here, Dehancer had a pretty long list of film stocks for you to choose. But to be honest with you, I only shot like 10 film stocks on this list, so I can't really speak for all of them. But of the film stocks that I shot, I thought they did a pretty good job capturing the kinds of characteristics of, the original film stocks. For example, it captured pretty well the muted colors and pastel nature of Portra, or the warm and golden feelings of like Color Plus or Gold. And then there's like the famous green tints of Fujifilm. So everything in terms of unique film characteristics seemed to have been taken into account by the engineers at Dehancer. And after I put on these film simulations, they do remind me of the TIFF scans that I would often get back from the lab. And from there on, I would work on adding grain, halation, bloom, or make some edits that I would do normally with the TIFF scan. So even with Dehancer, you still need to put in some kind of work in order to get to the results that you want. So it's not like a magic wand where you cast a spell and your photo automatically looks like film. At first, I thought that this would mean myself spending hours and hours in Photoshop just like the good old days again. But after using it for a while, I realized that Dehancer actually got me to the results way quicker. What happened is now I have all these tools and workflow, and so I didn't have to go to YouTube watching all these tutorials or spending hours navigating the menus or creating these tools from scratch. Now I can just focus on pushing the buttons and using the sliders without even having to take my eyes off the photos. And as a result, the process became more enjoyable and the workflow more seamless, and it actually saved me like a ton of time, which is very important. So at the end of the day, is Dehancer a good film simulation product? For me at least, I think it is a really good product. Many times I was able to make people believe that I was actually shooting film. And while you still need to put in a lot of work yourself, even with Dehancer, the ease of use and the abundance of film stocks make the process very enjoyable and versatile. Are there any cons with Dehancer? In terms of technical aspects, personally I didn't find anything too troubling, but if I had to pick a con, then maybe it would be the price. $100 for a photo plugin and up to $450 for a video plugin might be a very big barrier to entry for many individual creators such as myself. But then again, I've done some light research and seeing the competitors, for example, Film Convert or Filmbox is charging very similar price. With Filmbox, you're paying like around $1,000, whereas Film Convert, you're paying roughly around $400 for the whole package, which is very similar. So Dehancer's pricing seemed to be very in line with what the market is offering. Please let me know in the comments if you think this is the fair price to charge for a film simulation software. So now let's try to answer the big question. Is Dehancer going to replace film photography for me? Personally, I don't think so. As corny as it may sound, I enjoy film photography not just for the end results, but also for the process. So I like to load my film, I like to advance the shutter, I like to develop film if I have the time to, or I just like the suspense when waiting for the scan from the lab. So for leisure and personal projects, I think I'll still shoot film. But when it comes to project where I need the convenience and precision of digital cameras while still aiming for that film look, then I'll absolutely choose Dehancer for my workflow. And when it comes to like shooting videos, I don't even have a choice.
What the hell?
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell.
So I hope this video was helpful for you when it comes to making a decision whether to buy Dehancer or not. If you do decide to buy Dehancer, make sure to use my code UBB to get 10% off at the checkout page. Thank you for watching up to this point. Make sure to like and subscribe this channel. Reach out to me on Instagram at utbebob, and that is UTBEEBOB if you want to have a conversation about photography. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.